All right. Well, hey, everybody. Andrew here with Nashville Severe Weather. We're here for a severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson County, and this is for an outflow boundary. So this is going to take a little bit of splaining, and this is a severe thunderstorm warning that does not necessarily include storms. At the moment, the storms are back off to the northwest, and they're weakening actually up here in Kentucky. In fact, they're weakening quite a bit, and they out ahead of the storms, though, is an outflow boundary, and you can see this by this blue line on radar. And so this is this blue line right here is actually dust and bugs and all kinds of junk being blown up by the winds that blew through Clarksville just a little bit ago and actually produced some, I believe, a 63 mile per hour wind gust. And so the warning here is for these winds. And you can see over on velocities. So over here on the right, you see velocities, and this is where the winds are. So this helps us see what's going on. So we've got some pretty gusty winds here at about 65 miles per hour coming into Cheatham County, coming out of Montgomery County, and this is all headed down toward Davidson County. So when you get the strongest winds, these winds are going to be out ahead of whatever storms we get today, and there's probably not going to be a lot of rain associated with this. So it's a little bit of a non-traditional format as far as our straight line winds go. And so this blue line right here is what we are watching. This is the wind producer. It's not necessarily the storms that are back here in Kentucky, although we could still get some gusty winds up there. This blue line right here is what we are concerned about as far as the winds go. So again, over here on velocities on radar, we can see that there are some winds up at 68 miles per hour or so coming into Cheatham County. That does not surprise me at all based on the reports that we got out of Clarksville just a little bit ago, as we saw these gusty winds move through there. So where's this all headed? The severe thunderstorm warning includes just a northwestern part of Davidson County, basically from Fontanelle and Bells Bend off to the northwest. So it does include areas like Joelton. It includes Bakers and Lutons and Ivy Point and Greer Road area up there toward Coopertown Road and Baxter Road. So basically the northwestern part of Davidson County is who is included in the severe thunderstorm warning at the moment. That could be extended down to the southeast. However, they are watching for weakening, and if these winds are not producing severe level straight line winds, they're not going to continue to issue severe thunderstorm warnings as it moves to the southeast. So basically what we're seeing here is we're seeing these storms off to our northwest that were producing the strong gusty straight line winds. The storms have weakened, and what they've done is they've laid down an outflow boundary, which is an area of really strong gusty winds that have come crashing down from the storms. And so these storms are now what we call outflow dominant. So the storms aren't as much of an issue back here to the northwest as much as this area of wind is an issue out ahead of it. And so with winds gusting to 63 in Clarksville, that's pretty strong. That's definitely in severe category. But what we're going to watch for is weakening along this front line here where the strongest winds are. And if those winds come down, which they should over time, it's not often that we see that those winds get stronger over time. Typically, those weaken over time. And so we will watch to see if that happens. This is a single show today here on Nashville Severe Weather. So I'm just here on YouTube with you, and also covering Twitter a little bit over here. And so every once in a while, I'm going to kind of hit some buttons over here and do a couple of tweets as we watch this come in. You've seen there on radar, a bunch of those warnings were just expired or canceled up there in Kentucky. That's a good sign. Let me send a tweet here. let's see here. Looks like up there in Montgomery County, looks like we're getting some reports of several trees down and numerous power outages up there in Clarksville. So that sort of verifies the wind threat that we're seeing here. And I'm circling some of the stuff here on radar that I'm going to shoot over to the Twitter side. And let's see, what is the time? That's going to be at 9:45 is when that radar image was taken. All right. Cool. All right. All right, yeah. So, David, you're talking about the colors here. And the colors here, basically, this is a velocity view, and so radar is determining whether winds are going toward or away from the radar site and how strong those winds are, how fast things are moving. So 67 miles per hour, they're fairly common up at about 1,200 feet, so that's a little bit off the ground. And so as this moves further away from the radar that we're using in Hopkinsville, these will get brighter and brighter because it's looking further up in the sky. So let me switch over to the Nashville radar here and let's see if it shows anything different. Let's see. Yeah, a lot of you talking about we do need the rain. We really do need the rain, and so we hope that we get some rain out of this and not just a bunch of wind. So let's see here. A little bit more messy of a velocity signature here. Nashville radar doesn't have as good of a read on this because it's still a little bit to our northwest yet. So not getting really great reads on this as far as the winds go. So we might switch back over to Hopkinsville here in just a second. So let's kind of recap what we've got. So what we have here is a severe thunderstorm warning for the northwestern part of Davidson County. And this is actually, we've had a couple little storms pop up here kind of ahead of the wind. And so severe thunderstorm warning for the northwestern part of Davidson County. And that is not for this little storm here between Ashland City and Beeman Park. The severe thunderstorm warning is for winds that are indicated by this blue line here. And these winds are what we're concerned about. This wind here is what produced 63 mile per hour wind gusts in Clarksville. And so as that moves down to the southeast, that's where we are looking to get some of these strong gusty winds, potentially severe winds there in northwestern Davidson County. Now, there are some storms that have fired up. Back the radar up. There are some storms that have fired up just in the last few minutes here in northwestern Davidson County. And we'll have to see if those get stronger. They certainly seem to be getting stronger. And so we're going to watch and see how this outflow boundary, the wind producer, how it affects these storms. So we're going to watch that over the next few minutes. But for the next little bit, we just got the severe thunderstorm warning for northwestern Davidson County. And so let's talk about reports just for a second. If you have a report that you would like to send us, if you see any damaging winds or wind damage, hail, anything like that, let us know. Use hashtag TSpotter on Twitter. And that would be great. And we will get your report over to the Weather Service, and they could definitely use those reports today. Looks like Springfield up here in Robertson County just gusted to 53 miles per hour. So still a strong area of wind gusts here along the front of this, this gust front, this outflow boundary. 53 miles per hour is pretty strong, and that was up there in Springfield at the Springfield Airport, which I think is just north of town, actually. And so that is they just got those winds there just a minute ago, 53 miles per hour. So we're going to be watching some cameras and stuff like that to see how the wind affects those as it comes in, and so we've just got a lot to watch over the next little bit. Madison, yes, you are in the line of fire. You're not technically under a warning. Katie was asking about Madison. Madison is in the line of fire. You're not technically under a warning yet, but you are in the line. Looks like the storm over here around Beeman Park is getting stronger and might actually have a little bit of hail with it over here around Beeman Park and Fontenelle, Joelton, areas like that. You could get a little bit of hail out of this one, actually. And I'm interested to see how the storm reacts when this area of strong wind hits it. It's still out ahead of that outflow boundary. So once that outflow boundary affects the storm, gets up underneath it, I want to see how it affects it. It may get stronger pretty quickly. So it's possible we could have a pretty decent storm there in Joelton, Fontenelle, Bakers, Goodlettsville, even down to Madison. We'll have to see how this storm reacts to this outflow boundary hitting it. Sometimes it strengthens storms pretty quickly. We'll just have to see. So appreciate your comments over there. I'm looking at those as I can. Got a lot going on today. I'm the only one in the house as far as Nashville severe weather goes at the moment. So we're doing both Twitter and YouTube live here. So I may need to break away every once in a while and handle a little bit of YouTube. It looks like Will's jumped in on Twitter for a little bit. So that's good news. Let me send a message here, and I'll be right back. Zach asking, how's it looking for downtown? It looks like we're looking at strong gusty winds for downtown here in probably the next 30 minutes, and could have some storms out ahead of. There are some developing storms west of town that we're going to watch because they are strengthening, and they are worth watching. So it's going to be interesting in downtown in the next half hour or so to see if these storms back to the west strengthen. Currently, they are strengthening, so we're gonna have to watch and see if that remains the case. All right. So let's recap just a little bit. Severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson County, for the northwestern areas of Davidson County, and that includes basically Bells Bend up to Fontenelle and Goodlettsville to the northwest. So it includes Joelton and Beeman Park. Now, this was issued before all of these storms got going around Ashland City and Dixon, and you can see that in the last little bit, we've had strengthening storms here right there around Aaron and over in Houston County, Dixon County, Cheatham County. And we're going to have to see how much these strengthen. And we hope not too much. But we have even storms now just in the last couple of minutes developing around Vanderbilt. So I'm going to go over to the over to the Midtown camera. So here's a look at the Midtown camera downtown. So this is facing east, facing downtown, and we have that's not actually doesn't look like that image is moving, does it? But we do have a storm that's approaching that camera actually, and we're gonna check that out here. I'm gonna find another camera that's live as we look off to the northwest. Here's a little bit of a still image, but this still image is in Goodlettsville looking north. So actually, there it is live now. And so in Goodlettsville looking north, you kind of see off to the left side. That's where those storms are coming in. So that's where the strong gusty winds should be in Goodlettsville really in the next, just a little bit, probably next 10 minutes or so. So that line of clouds there on the left is probably where those strong gusty winds are moving in. All right, let's go back over to radar, and still some. It looks like the Weather Service is about to issue some new warnings here, and that's going to be further southeast. That's going to include Nashville, and so the Weather Service is going to be extending this severe thunderstorm warning down to the southeast. So that's going to include parts of Williamson County and Davidson County. as well. So we'll see what all that includes here in just a second. But they are going to extend the severe thunderstorm warning down to the southeast. And let's see. It looks like this storm over Fontenelle is really kind of getting its act together, actually, and could have some hail with it. And so this storm. This storm over Fontenelle does look to be strengthening here. Radar is still showing, Weather Service says that radar is still showing 50 to 60 mile per hour winds along the outflow boundary. And so that stretches through Davidson County, down all the way up to near Portland. So it looks like it's coming into northern Davidson County now. So it looks like a new warning will be coming and new storms developing now around Vanderbilt and Fontenelle. And these storms don't necessarily look severe at the moment. However, they could strengthen pretty quickly as the outflow boundary gets up underneath them. We'll just have to see. And let's see here. Yeah, so we'll get a new warning coming here in just a second. Janelle asked a good question here. After this warning, are we done for the day in terms of storms? Yeah, we think so. We think that this will work over our atmosphere pretty good, and this will be sort of the start of a cooler period and a little bit of a cooler weekend. So we think this will be kind of the main event for the day. It could last for a few hours as it takes some time for these storms to kind of work through. But after this, it looks like we should be in pretty good shape. So we hope that's the case. All right, so we're waiting for a new severe thunderstorm warning here. I'm going to go ahead and pull up another piece of radar software here. And we're going to see what it shows. Let me get that pulled up. All right, so here's another piece of radar software, and yeah, here's our new warning. So it looks like the new severe thunderstorm warning covers all of downtown Nashville, down to the southeast, Percy Priest Lake, Franklin, all the way back over to Fairview is where the new warning covers, and that's going to be a severe thunderstorm warning for winds approaching 60 miles per hour. And that's going to be in effect for another 30 minutes or so. So that'll be in effect until 10:30. And so that's a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Let's switch back over to this radar. It's just a lot going on that one. So the warning will pop up on this one here shortly. New severe thunderstorm warning for basically downtown Nashville down to the southwest. And that'll cover Franklin and Fairview, and there it is on that radar. So new severe thunderstorm warning that includes a good part of Williamson County, includes Brentwood, Franklin, Fairview, and all the way up to Nashville. This is for 60 mile per hour wind gusts. This is in effect until 10:30. And it's for an area of storms extending from Ashland City to near White Bluff to near McEwen, moving south at 60 miles per hour. And 60 mile per hour wind gusts are the concern here. So could even be getting a little bit of hail out of the storms up in northwest Nashville. So like Haines, Chesapeake, Fontenelle areas up there could be getting a little bit of hail in there. That wouldn't be surprising in that storm. And these are all storms that have developed just in the past few minutes and coming into downtown. I'm looking to see if we can get a live picture out of Midtown, but it doesn't look like it at the moment. Here's the Nippers Corner cam looking off to the northwest. This is looking toward downtown. See those newly developed storms up there around downtown Nashville. And let's go back to radar here, and you can see those storms coming in. It's a little hard to tell where that outflow boundary is, but flip over to velocities, we can see where it is. It's coming in, stretching from Joelton, Beaman Park, down to Kingston Springs. So it's right in here. And it's going to be interesting to see how these storms react to this outflow boundary hitting them. All right, so let's kind of see what we have going on here. Let's back up a little bit. The original area of storms has weakened considerably up in Kentucky, And so Hopkinsville, Cadiz, Princeton, Madisonville, areas like that up there in Kentucky, the storms have really weakened. And the severe winds really detached from those storms pretty quickly. And some new storms have popped up here around Nashville back to the west. And it looks like the only warning we have in effect now is this new one that's in effect till 10:30. And that's the only one we have in effect. So let's talk about what to do real quick. If you're outside, you need to get in. This area of strong winds, it shouldn't last too terribly long, but you don't want to be outside in it, okay? So be inside. If you're in your car, that's fine, just away from trees and stuff that could fall. But you want to be away from things that could fall down outside or blow around. And so in a car, in a building or something like that would be great. And you want to be, if you're in your car, just be away from trees. Because last thing you want is a car coming down on or a tree coming down on your car. So you want to be away from those kinds of things. Other than that, you should be fine. This shouldn't last too long. But the storms that have formed now are probably some lightning producers. Let me see. Yeah, we've got some pretty decent lightning here, and really from Fontenelle down to Nashville, Beeman Park, Joelton, and even over to Kingston Springs, an area like that. And I tell you what, there's a lot of positive strikes, and what those are. The positive strikes are the strong lightning strikes they're really loud, really noisy. There's a lot of positive strikes actually with these storms, a lot more than we usually see with a typical thunderstorm. So quite a bit of thunder and lightning, and you want to be inside with that for sure. All right, let's see what else we got coming in here. Looks like we got... is that a new severe thunderstorm warning? Yeah, it looks like a new severe thunderstorm warning for Davidson and Trousdale, areas like that. So what they're doing here, there'll be a new warning that pops up to the northeast here that covers the rest of Davidson. There it is. So new severe thunderstorm warning now for Goodlettsville, Madison, Hermitage, Percy Priest Lake. If you're on Percy Priest Lake, or you know somebody that's out on Percy Priest Lake or Old Hickory Lake for that matter, give them a holler, tell them to get off of there, get into get into the marinas, the harbors, get off the water, because it's not a good time to be out on the lakes. This is going to come up pretty quickly. There's a lot of lightning with it, and it's just a really bad time to be on the lakes. So Percy Priest, Old Hickory Lakes, anything like that, or anybody off to the northeast that you know of, just be sure to give them a call. Tell them to get off for a little while. That would be great. Maybe go have an early lunch at the marina. That'd be fantastic. All right, so we got a couple of storms in Davidson County. One here is around Fontenelle, one's around Beeman Park, Joelton, and to the 2465 split. That's one main area where we have a storm there. And then Nashville, downtown Nashville, Vanderbilt, down to Rosedale, Trevecca, Belmont, kind of that 440 loop down to kind of where the old Greer Stadium was, down toward Melrose and Berry Hill. So another pretty strong storm there. And then another one back to the west in Riverwalk and Kingston Springs. So Jonathan is asking what directions these storms are moving. Let me put this in motion here. The storms are kind of moving to the east, and you can kind of see how fast they developed here. So they developed really quickly right over top of us, and they are moving basically to the east. So it looks like... Okay, the Weather Service is noting that the radars around here are still showing winds 50 to 60 miles per hour along the outflow boundary that we're going to show here in just a second. But they said that the winds will go from calm to severe very quickly. And so people need to prepare for rapidly changing conditions. And that's a great note, because that is very much the case. And it looks like that outflow boundary now is from Bells Bend and Fontenelle up toward Goodlettsville. So we're going to take the Goodlettsville camera here, and this is off to the this is looking off to the northwest. I don't think they've quite gotten the strongest of that outflow boundary yet. Now it looks like it's still just off to their west. So we're going to see, kind of be watching the trees and see how things change there in Goodlettsville. This is looking off to the north. That's Dickerson Road or Main Street right there in front of you. And it kind of runs off to the north there. So you're looking kind of toward on the left side of your screen on the horizon is kind of Ridgetop and Greenbrier and places like that. Let's see. All right, checking to see what other notes we have coming in here. Okay. Yeah. Will says over on Twitter, he says, if you have reports of wind damage, trees, power lines, buildings, let us know using hashtag #TSpotter. And that's a great way to let us know what you're seeing out there, only to report severe weather. Don't let us know it's raining or anything like that. We know what's going on there. Just let us know if you see severe weather damage, and that would be great. Looks like we got some hail. Justin says some hail there in South Englewood. And that doesn't surprise me at all. We're still seeing some hail possibilities here on radar. You're looking at the Goodlettsville camera, and I'm going to switch back just for a second over here to radar and show you South Englewood. We got radars indicating we could have some 1-inch hail there, and so that's right in here. So not surprising at all that you're seeing that hail over there, Justin. That is kind of confirmed by what radar is seeing as well. So yeah, it looks like some pea-sized hail reports over in Englewood and Whites Creek as well. So Will got that report over to the Weather Service. Y'all are doing a great job letting us know about that. So use hashtag #TSpotter if you would like to report hail. We will get that over to the Weather Service. Quite a bit of lightning with this. Still, let's go back over to the north camera over at Goodlettsville. And I'm going to look for another couple of cameras as well. So severe thunderstorm warnings remain in effect. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings, one for, pretty much all of Davidson County, and the other one down toward in Williamson County. The one that affects mostly Williamson County and a good part of Davidson's in effect till 10:30. The other one is in effect until 10:30 as well. So really, our severe thunderstorm warnings at the moment cover till 10:30. And I'm watching the cameras over here. We're going to see if we get any, if the trees start moving pretty quick, anything like that. That outflow boundary that is the wind producer looks to be right on their doorstep. So we're gonna watch that closely. And let's see here. Pull up some other cameras as well. This is Oak Hill looking south. So this is Oak Hill looking down Franklin Road. Yeah, here's Midtown. So it's live now. Looking at Midtown there, that's looking toward downtown. And should be getting pretty gusty there in a little bit. All right, let's go back over to radar here. All right. Okay, so we got a couple of things we're watching here. One is that we have some strong gusty winds here that are moving into Metro, and those look to be around Bells Bend and Fontenelle and up toward Goodlettsville down toward Bellevue. All right, so it also looks like we have some strong winds behind those storms as well. So TBNA is measuring winds up in the 60 mile per hour range up at about 1,200 feet. All right, so not saying those are reaching the ground, but it's possible they could be pretty close to the ground, especially up on the ridge tops or something. We could have some pretty strong gusty winds up in northwestern Davidson County. And so a couple of things we're watching there. We're also watching these newly developed storms. I mean, really, really newly developed storms. These really developed in the past half hour. And if we put the radar in motion here, you can kind of see how fast they developed. And so these storms are, the strongest one appears to be over Inglewood right now. We're still getting some hail reports. Looks like maybe dimes even over there on, over on T-Spotter looking at, or over on our replies on Twitter. So maybe even a dime there as far as the size. Over in Inglewood. So it looks like we got hail there in Inglewood and up toward Madison and all the way down to really Shelby Bottoms, Donaldson. So we got a hailer there, and we got, looks like we might even have another hailer developing over around Riverwalk in Bellevue. So hail size is coming up there around Riverwalk and in Bellevue as well. So let's kind of go back in time. Yeah, it looks like we got two hailers we're watching, one around Inglewood and one around Riverwalk. All right. So be sure to report those hail sizes to us using hashtag TSpotter. Okay, let's go back over to the Goodlettsville North camera, and I'm going to wait till that comes live, and then we'll take that and see what's going on up there. So here's your Goodlettsville North camera, and the winds should be getting there pretty soon. In fact, let me look at something here. Yeah, it looks like the trees are actually moving pretty good. You have to get down there and look at it, but it looks like the trees are moving there pretty good. So wouldn't be surprised to see some power outages up there, tree limbs down, stuff like that. So wind blowing pretty hard in Riverwalk. All right, that's good to know. So this storm down here in Riverwalk definitely strengthening. It looks like the hail sizes probably will come up here in Riverwalk and Bellevue, and it's pretty windy too. So it looks like hail sizes are coming back up there in Riverwalk, and that right here in this purple area, it looks like right here in this purple area, right on top of Riverwalk is where we would see the hail, is right there in that purple area around Riverwalk, McCrory Lane, the cemetery over there. And it looks like that's where some of the strongest hail would be, right there in the southwestern part of the county. Looks like, though, also we could have, that's the Goodlettsville camera again, still moving around quite a bit. Let's go over here to the TBNA radar, and it's showing an area of 60-mile-per-hour winds right over here in Whitebridge Road, Belmead area. So it looks like winds there gusting 63, 64 miles per hour there around Belmead, and so that's developed just recently. So it looks like we are going to be having to deal with these storms, and so as far as the winds go, and it looks like these winds could gust 60 miles per hour without much of a problem there, especially right there around Belmead. And let's see, what is that? That's going to be right there in that 70S Highway 100 split. So right there in the middle of Belmead. It looks like that's where the strongest winds are there. Gusting to 63 miles per hour up there on radar at about 600 feet. So those could easily be reaching the surface. And that is... so strong winds definitely a possibility in the southwestern part of Davidson County as well. And gonna keep watching some cameras over here. Let me go back to radar here, and then I'll pull some cameras up. So Will's over on Twitter handling the Twitter side of things, and I'll be here on YouTube Live for a while. We're going to watch these storms come through. Looks like we've got us a wind threat today, and it looks like really the strongest storm of the day looks to be this one right here around Riverwalk and Bellevue. So certainly the strongest lightning, and there's a lot of lightning down here in Riverwalk and Bellevue. In fact, there's also a lot of positive strikes. Those are the really strong lightning strikes that can shake your house and all that kind of stuff. So if you hear the really strong lightning strikes, usually it's these positive strikes, and there's really an unusually high concentration of positive strikes today down here in the Bellevue area. So they are just getting bombarded with lightning. You definitely don't want to be out in this. So if you know somebody that's outside in Brentwood, Forest Hills, Creve Hall, downtown Nashville, whatever, I mean, just tell them to get in. The lightning is just not worth being out. What a mess. So you definitely don't want to be out in it. So I'm kind of doing a tour of some cameras here. This is the Oak Hill, the south camera here that we were looking at a little bit ago. It looks south, kind of southwest, and those are some angry looking clouds. So that's in Oak Hill, looking down Franklin Road and toward Brentwood. And so this is about halfway between Melrose and Brentwood, looking south. So I-65 is on your left side there, and Franklin Road's right in front of you, and you're looking kind of the south direction. So we'll watch this storm as it moves in, because it's going to kind of come right in over this camera, it looks like. So 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect. We're going to keep this camera right over on the side, and we'll come back to it. 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect until 10:30. And so about another 10 minutes on these, and then the Weather Service will decide whether they're going to extend these warnings or whether they are going to let them expire or what they're going to do. So these seem to be kind of borderline severe storms, some 60-mile-per-hour winds possible with them. It doesn't look like we're seeing like any of the 70, 80-mile-per-hour winds, anything like that, but it doesn't take that much to, really play nasty with the trees and stuff like that. It's a mess. It looks like we're getting some reports in now of some wind damage. Looks like a picture of some big trees down there in Donaldson between Two Rivers and Lebanon Pike. So that is a problem, and I would imagine we have some power outages associated with that. So let me go over to the Nippers Corner cam. Here's that storm coming in. So it looks like there's some tree damage over there in Donaldson, and that looks to be a mess. All right, let's kind of stick with radar for a little bit. All right. So, again, 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect here till 10:30, and it includes most of Davidson and Williamson County. Let me get something to drink here real quick. Excuse me. Nothing like lukewarm coffee. I made that coffee here right before we went on, and it's not exactly hot. All right. That'll wake you up. So, strongest storm of the moment looks to be down here around Bellevue and Riverwalk and Pasco. And we did get some hail reports with that, some small hail reports. With that, it does not look to be large hail. It doesn't look like the hail that we're getting today is severe size. It looks like this is sub-severe hail, smaller than dime size in Riverwalk. So that's good. So the hail seems to be sub-severe. However, it looks like the severe part of this is definitely the wind. And so strong storm developing and getting stronger there around downtown Nashville. It looks like power outages coming in now. It looks like no power around Percy Warner, no power in Donaldson. So we're starting to get these reports now of power outages. So we're going to watch carefully this Oak Hill camera. This is up on top of the Brentwood Hills Church there on Franklin Road, and that's looking south. And that we're going to be watching this one carefully. This is a great camera because it has the tree really right in front of the camera, and so it's a great camera to sort of gauge what the winds are doing because we can see the trees moving and that kind of thing. So this is a good one we're going to watch. and see kind of what the winds do once the storm gets there. It's not there yet, so we will watch that carefully. All right, so pretty much everybody in Davidson County getting some rain, which we really do need the rain. We really do need the rain. And so we'll take the rain, but we really hope that the damage is minimal to trees and power lines. I know we're already getting some power outages, but it would be great if we didn't get the damage. But we really could use the rain, and especially as we get into another dry period next week. Next week looks to be really hot again, and maybe even just a little bit hotter. So it is. So we could use the rain. So 10:21 now in the morning, as we have 2 severe thunderstorm warnings in effect, both until 10:30, and we have really we have a few areas of storms. Basically, I guess now a line of storms we could call it, that is affecting areas all the way from Hermitage and Lakewood down toward Vanderbilt and Berry Hill and Forest Hills, and back toward Bellevue and Riverwalk and Pasco. And those are moving to the east. There are more storms back to the west around Fairview that could be an issue for Williamson County. And it looks like some power outages now coming in around Fairview as well. So it looks like both counties could get in on some some especially strong winds. And it looks like so we're getting some reports of trees down on I-24 up there in northwestern Middle Tennessee. And it looks like, so the Weather Service says now that it looks like the outflow boundary northeast of Nashville into Sumner County appears weaker on radars, but it could still be producing some damaging winds. The outflow in Davidson, Williamson, Cheatham, and Hickman appears the strongest. So they are watching, especially right now, the outflow boundary, which is kind of hard to see, but it's right here through Fairview, Natchez Trace, up toward West Brentwood, Creve Hall, up into Hermitage. That's kind of where the strongest winds are. That's kind of where the strongest winds are right now with the outflow boundary, and that's what we're going to have to watch. Let's go back over here to the camera over there in Oak Hill, and it looks like that storm is quickly moving in from right to left. So what we typically see with this camera is those hills kind of disappear across Franklin Road over toward Radnor Lake, and that is where that's where the storm is coming from. So it looks like the area there in Oak Hill is just now starting to experience this storm, and we're going to see that move in pretty quickly. So let's just watch this move across. Looks like the winds have really picked up there. I can see the trees moving on the bottom of that image there in Oak Hill. And so let's hope we keep our camera up there, but looks like the winds have arrived there now. Could even be some hail. Seeing over on radar now, it looks like some 1-inch hail possible right over Radnor Lake, which is a distinct possibility. So it looks like even right here at the camera site, we could get some hail out of this. So we're just going to kind of keep an eye on this for a little bit and see if we see any hail or kind of what we see with it. All right, so I'm watching radar over on the left side and looking to see. Looks like a new warning is going to be coming out. This is going to be for the central part of the line, and it looks like they're going to extend the warning southeast. So this will probably include the rest of Williamson County, and we'll see about that here in just a minute. But it looks like they are going to issue a new severe thunderstorm warning here in just a second. Thank you for the reports. We're getting a lot of reports here of hail and wind, and that is great. Send those to hashtag TSpotter. We would love to get those reports. We'll send those over to the Weather Service, and that is super helpful. So thank you for doing that. I'm also going to look at some traffic cameras in Brentwood. Let's pull some stuff up and see what they are experiencing in Brentwood. And here we go. Here's a good view here. So you can see this is Franklin Road, Maryland Way. This is so right behind this camera would be the like the BP gas station. That's LBMC right in front of you there. The office building. You're looking kind of south there in Brentwood. So Maryland Way off to the right. Those cars on the bottom there are turning onto Church Street. And let's see if there's any other views we can use here. All right, this is like the second time we've seen this. There's always a guy running in the storm on this camera, and clearly didn't know what was going on. But that is the second time on that camera we've seen a guy running and pouring down rain and a severe storm on this camera. So hope he's good. Let's take a look at some other cameras here and see what we can find. All right, this is Maryland Way, West Park Drive. Again, these are City of Brentwood cameras. And so pretty strong winds here, Maryland Way, West Park Drive. That's right there in the middle of Brentwood. And yeah, Piper, I think you're right. It does look like the same guy. So anyway, all right. Let's see what other cameras we have available. This is a great shot, actually. This is Franklin Road, Moores Lane. So this is looking right into that area. Like you got Sopapia's there, some restaurants over there, and those condos. This is at Franklin Road, Moores Lane. So that's that Moores Lane extension, as some of us call it there, that those cars are going onto, goes over the hill. But really, I mean, wind's still pretty strong right in the middle of Brentwood. I'm checking some other cameras too. All right, the storm is just arriving at Wilson Pike and Crockett Road, and it's blowing pretty good there. Yeah, we see a lot of. Well, there's my Stormwatch Plus going off there. All right, so I'm looking at a lot of cameras over here. We'll jump back to radar in just a second, but kind of checking out a lot of different cameras that might show us kind of what's going on. So this is right here at the Moores Lane and Carruthers. That truck's pulling out of like the Havertys and Home Depot areas like that, kind of going toward the interstate there on Moores Lane. So it doesn't look like the storm has really gotten there yet. Looks like a lot of water here on Franklin Road, right around town center. So careful driving out there. Don't hydroplane. It looks like there's quite a bit of water there from the rain. And we'll jump back over here to radar in just a second. We got, looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the rest of Williamson County. So that's going to be in effect until 11 a.m. So 11 a.m. now for the storms that are still pushing to the southeast here, and could have some strong gusty winds. And the Weather Service is hoping not to have to extend this warning again, but they're hoping that this thing weakens a little bit. But they say, please keep sending us reports. So please use hashtag T-Spotter to send your reports of wind damage, of hail, anything like that. They would love to know what's going on there now. A lot of strong winds near Lenox, Michael says. Windy in Creve Hall, and worried about my hackberry tree, Walker. Yes, Creve Hall does have a reputation for dropping trees, so I would be worried about your hackberry tree too. I grew up in Creve Hall. It seemed like every storm we had, we would drop trees. Let's kind of check out more cameras here. Some funky clouds at Franklin Road and Moores Lane. Nothing concerning there, by the way. Those kind of typical with this kind of setup. Not really concerned about tornadoes today. I'm just kind of clicking through a bunch of cameras over here. All right, here's Concord Road and Crockett Road. So we're going to go over to TBNA here, and it's showing these winds pretty well. This is TBNA radar. This is in Nolensville. This is like the Burkett Place subdivision area in Nolensville. It's where that radar is, and off to the northwest, radar is showing pretty good winds, up to 60 miles per hour, 55 to 60 miles per hour there in southeastern Davidson County and eastern Brentwood. So that's kind of right where this camera is, and that looks plausible. This is right near. That's like the Beech Grove subdivision would be on the right of this camera. Crockett Road runs off to the left, and yeah, definitely some strong winds there. At Crockett and Concord. That's very near where this camera is. And you can see the tarp on that. Oh, I guess he's closing the tarp on his truck, the dump truck there. Or it might be opening it, I don't know. Making sure it doesn't blow away. All right, let's go back over and look at radar again. We're going to look at radar and show, these are pretty strong winds coming into Nolensville. These are 66 mile per hour winds. This is right near the Concord Hills Road. That's going to be right there near Culbertson Road, kind of near where the Publix and the Publix and Kroger and all that is up there, just north of Nolensville. So very strong area of winds there. Still watching this camera over here at Crockett and Concord. And let's go back over to our other radar here and just kind of get a wide sense of what's going on here. So looks like as these storms come in, again, they seem to still be holding their own pretty well. And it looks like the strongest storm right now is over toward, up here in Antioch. Could be a hailer with that. Could have some hail up here approaching. Again, I can't say it enough. If you're over there around Percy Priest Lake, if you know somebody that's on Percy Priest Lake today, please tell them to just get off the lake for a while. This is really a nasty storm coming in, and they've already had a little bit of rain there. But just tell them not to be out on the lake right now. It's really going to be a nasty storm across the lake here in just a few minutes. Somebody's asking about Mount Juliet and Hermitage. So Hermitage, it looks like pretty much things are winding down for you in Hermitage. So Hermitage is right up here. And it looks like things are winding down there in Hermitage. And the winds just arrived at my place, so we'll see. Boy, I can hear the roar outside. Well, that's pretty legit, y'all. That's pretty legit. All right. Man. Probably can't hear that over my mic, but that's a legit roar. All right, so let's go back to TBNA. TBNA is very interesting here. It's got a great read on this. Let's go look at this here. Yeah, TBNA is showing 57 mile per hour winds coming into the radar site there. And even some 55, 58 mile per hour winds, even some 60s, it looks like, right there around Fly Road. So, yeah, still pretty legit. No, Max. The chair back there is a closet. So, I hope nothing comes out of that closet. But I just didn't clean my room up before we went on today. All right, let's go back to radar here and kind of show where the strongest winds are. Now, this situation looks a lot different and than it did a little bit earlier. So we had started with these storms up here in Kentucky, and then as it pushed east or southeast, those storms kind of fell apart, and then we had these storms develop right around Metro, like right on top of us. And so those are the ones we're dealing with right now. And yeah, it looks like this is the only event today. It looks like this is going to be the only deal. So severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 11 a.m. And so that's about another, what do we got, 10:37 right now? So almost a little more than 20 minutes. So it looks like we have reports of trees down, blocking roadways and power outages in Fairview, Leapers Fork, and Grassland. So down here in Williamson County, looks like we got hit pretty hard up there north of Franklin and west back toward Fairview. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go over here and look at Middle Tennessee Electric. We're going to look at power outages and kind of get a sense for what's going on there. Let's see if I can switch this over. Yeah, let's kind of look at power outages in Middle Tennessee Electric. Williamson County, it looks like they're about 5,100 customers out. So that's about 5% of the county. Looks like we have 2 big outages there and about 5,100 customers out there. Let's look at NES and see what they're reporting. Looks about almost 23,000 customers up in NES's area. Looks like a large outage down here, a couple of large ones down here in the southeastern part of the county. Actually, right near where we were talking about, Burkett Road. In fact, right there around the, looks like all of the area there around Publix and Kroger and all that doesn't have power according to this. So big power outages there. So it looks like about 23,000 customers. This is a pretty legit storm for us. We've seen a lot more, but it seems like a pretty legit storm for us there as far as power outages go for both counties. But they're going to get on that quickly and get that repaired. Steven over on Twitter at T-Spotter, he says live at the base of TBNA. So if you live over in the Burkett Place area of Nolensville, in fact, let me see if I can pull that up. Yeah, Steven is at the base of TBNA, he says, and if you live over in that subdivision, you know where it is. It's a giant thing in your backyard back there, but winds are howling, and I can see the rain coming. So TBNA had a very good read on this storm a little bit ago. All right, so it looks like the strongest winds now are stretching from like Buckner Road, Page High School up toward almost to Triune, Arrington, and then over into Rutherford County. So it looks like the strongest winds should be out of our county hopefully here soon. Davidson County pretty much clear as far as the severe winds go. But it looks like definitely still a lightning threat up there in Davidson County, though. Looks like we lucked out in Davidson County. They've got some probably bigger than ping pong ball size hail over in Gladeville. So this storm over here in Gladeville, that's over in Wilson County. That is probably that's a pretty strong stinging storm over there, and they could have some hail larger than golf balls there. I'm sorry, larger than ping pong balls. So that's kind of a mess over there. We didn't have anything that large. Man alive. We didn't have anything that large here. It doesn't look like. Although it does look like there was a report of a quarter-size hailstone in Inglewood. All right, so let's kind of talk about who's ahead of these strong winds. And it's kind of easy to tell here, really. Spring Hill, you see this blue line here. This blue line is the strong winds. This is exactly when the winds picked up at my house. All right, was right when this blue line crossed. So Spring Hill, Page High School, Triune, College Grove, Bethesda, Cross Keys, Flat Creek Road, Comstock Road, Allisona, the 31A, 41A split where the gas station and Bonnie's Barnyard and all that is. You guys are still ahead of this line. When this line crosses you here in just a few minutes, it's going to be pretty windy. All right, pretty windy. And so that's going to be where the strong wind is. And then the rain and the storms follow that, and it doesn't look like the winds are as strong in those storms as they are right out at the front. And actually, my wife, I just got a text from her. She is at Publix, and the power is out at Publix. So that's interesting. Let's go over to TBNA here. Looks like TBNA is still measuring winds in the 60 mile per hour range over in Rutherford County. So the thing is still packing a punch. You know, it's really amazing, actually, that the storms fell apart that sort of originated this line of strong wind. The storms kind of fell apart in Kentucky and continued to push this area of strong winds down to the southeast. That's pretty impressive that this area of wind lasted that long. And so this is definitely a pretty strong summertime storm event for us. So let's say this warning is in effect till 11 a.m., so we're going to stick with it, and at least until it leaves our, until it leaves our two counties. Wind is still pretty strong at my house, even though that, in fact, it's really strong at my house, even though that area of that blue line has passed. So I take back what I said about it looks like the winds aren't as strong even behind in these storms. Looks like we still could have some pretty strong winds even in the storms behind the blue line. So it doesn't look like your wind threat disappears with the blue line. So it looks like they have ping pong ball to lime size hail in Gladeville. That's estimated 2-inch hail size. That's way bigger than I was expecting today. That's over in Gladeville. So if you're on, if you go to, if you're traveling 840 up to I-40, you pass Gladeville. It's like where all the big warehouses are. And I think you got two big TV antennas, TV towers, or whatever they are, right there near where those big warehouses are. It looks like they had ping pong ball to lime size, or they also call that egg size hail, about 2-inch hail over there in Gladeville. Man. So I hate that they're getting that, but I'm glad we didn't get it here. All right, so the storms don't seem nearly as strong back here in Williamson County or Davidson County. They're still strong, packing a punch with the wind, but as far as the hail goes, it looks like we're not seeing nearly what we could be seeing as far as the hail threat goes. Not really concerned about the hail threat here, Leapers Fork, Franklin, Smyrna, Antioch, Brentwood, Nolensville. Not seeing nearly as big of a hail threat here as we are over here in Wilson County. So that's good for us. Hopefully these winds will die down here pretty soon. And then after this is over, we sort of get ready for our heat event for next week, and we can talk about that just a little bit. Here it looks like, so the forecast today was for a high of 96. We'll have to see if we get there with this rain. We'll just kind of have to see how that plays out. But it looks like things cool off for tomorrow and Sunday. Temperatures right around 89, 90 degrees, lower humidity. Saturday and Sunday look to be good days. But then Monday we heat back up. We get back up to 96 on Monday. And then Tuesday we are forecast to break our streak of no 100-degree readings. So we haven't hit 100 degrees since 2012. And we are forecast to end that streak on Tuesday and Wednesday, where we are forecast to be we're forecast to be 101 degrees. And then back down to 98 on Thursday. And it doesn't look like we have any rain in the forecast after today for a while. So, can I say enjoy the rain today? I hate that we've had some damage. But it's this might be the last rain we get for a little while. And it certainly looks like it's going to be hot. All right. Well, let's kind of look here. It looks like College Grove is getting the high winds now. Allisona, Cross Keys, Flat Creek Road area. This is the last corner of the county to get involved in the strong winds. And it looks like hey, Sean, I appreciate the idea about my coffee, man, trying to keep it warm. I made a mistake. I didn't put the top on my coffee. So when I brewed it, I did not put the top on it, and it just got cold. So that was my fault. So thank you very much for asking about my coffee. It's still not bad. It's not freezing cold yet, which nobody should ever drink freezing cold coffee. And I'm open to discussing that. All right, so several strong blasts of wind, some of the strongest you've ever seen, Matt says. Knocked out the power and internet where you are, which is rare. No power, Concord and Nolensville. I'm checking some of the comments here. Yeah, very windy there. No power at Concord and Nolensville. So again, let's go over, we'll kind of check out power outages because I know you guys now we're kind of turning our attention to, okay, what are we going to do the rest of the day? Let's go over and look at that. All right, here's Middle Tennessee Electric's website, and it looks like we have almost 7,000 customers out in Williamson County, or Middle Tennessee Electric, their area in Williamson County. That's about 7% of the county looks to be without power. And so Wilson County has an outage up there as well. But here in Williamson County, it looks like about 7% of customers without power. It's almost 7,000 people. Looks like the largest outages are there in Franklin and then over there in Fairview. So we can kind of look and see. It looks like the Henpeck Lane area. South Franklin is one of those large outages. and then back over in Fairview, a pretty large outage as well. So that is Middle Tennessee Electric. Let's go over to NES and check that out. And with NES, we're looking at about 23,000 customers out. So that's gone up a little bit from where it was earlier. And so it looks like that stretches all the way from up in the Bakers area, and that stretches all the way down to southern Davidson County, where we got apparently a couple of big outages down here. One of them is around right there around Concord Bluff Road, Hidden Creek subdivision, Old Hickory Boulevard, Cane Ridge. So basically that includes most of Cane Ridge area. So that's a big outage there with about 3,700 people or 3,700 customers. And then there are others as well. So quite a few outages out there, and that's just going to take a little bit of time to get worked out. So it looks like the severe thunderstorm warning remains in effect until 11. And it looks like I'm looking through some other reports up here. Looks like the 43 miles per hour at Vanderbilt, 48 miles per hour at Nashville Airport, 57 miles per hour at the 57 miles per hour in Brentwood, 47 miles per hour in Gallatin. So definitely strong winds. Looks like there's a new warning coming. It's going to be further to the southeast across Rutherford County and surrounding areas there. So new severe thunderstorm warning coming out. We'll see if that includes us at all, the new warning. My expectation is these storms are pushing off to the southeast, so it looks like our main threat is going to be to our south and to our east into Rutherford County. We're going to see if that is the case. All right. Well, thanks for joining us. If you're still with us, it's just kind of one of those days. We have a wind event coming through, and man alive, I got to show y'all this. This isn't for our area, but let me show y'all an example of what was falling over. Man, let me show y'all what was falling over to our east. Look at this. This is hail in South Mount Juliet off of Central Pike. Good grief. That's large hail for us, for Middle Tennessee. So we don't, you'll see much larger hail than that even out in the plains. But for us here in Middle Tennessee, that's a pretty large hailstone. I hate to see that fell over there. That's going to cause some damage, something that large. But that was over there in South Mount Juliet a little bit ago. So again, thanks for being here with us. Looks like these storms here over Williamson County are weakening a good bit. It looks like now the edge of the strongest wind is going to be over here in Rutherford County, coming into Murfreesboro. So it looks like the worst of it now has passed Williamson County and Davidson County. And now it looks like this is pretty much just a situation where we're dealing with the power outages and what's left. And so, send us the reports that you have. Send us if you see wind damage, if you see any trees down, anything like that. Send us that over to hashtag TSpotter, and we will get that over to the Weather Service. They would love to have your reports right now. And we'll get that over to them if you see any trees down or anything like that, which is a pretty good possibility. All right, let's go over to this radar here. Looks like temperatures dropping down through the 70s in Nashville. That's awfully nice. Still pretty hot down in still dropping still pretty hot down there in Rutherford County. But as this comes through, this is going to drop our temperatures. It's also going to drop our humidity over the next couple of days, which is going to make for a fairly nice weekend before we heat up again. And so let's hope that we get to enjoy just a couple of days of calm weather after this, and some some not so bad humidity. Hang on just a second. I'm trying to get these temperatures to go away. There we go. All right, so another 4 minutes remain on our severe thunderstorm warning. 4 minutes remain on the warning, and then that should go away for us. And it looks like they were at least considering issuing a new warning down to our southeast, and we'll see if they do. So Elizabeth, you're asking about an update around Percy Priest Lake, Antioch area. We have kids at the YMCA camp. Yes. All right, Percy Priest Lake and Antioch. Things are looking much better out there at Percy Priest Lake. So still some rain around there, some thunder and lightning, but the strong wind threat has passed over there in Percy Priest Lake area. So it looks like Percy Priest Lake's going to be in much better shape here soon. But I know it was rocking pretty good over there for a while. So it looks like we got clipped by this new warning. There's a new warning in effect for Williamson County, and that is going to be in effect until 11:30. Let me turn my weather radio off. Yeah, so new severe thunderstorm warning in effect for Williamson County. That's going to be the far southeast part of the county, and we just got clipped by that. So that new warning includes areas like from Triune down to the split, the Eagleville, Lewisburg split, Chapel Hill. So that split in the highway there, the 31A, 41A split, it includes that. But we just got grazed. We just got clipped by this warning. So that's good. It doesn't include very much. So they've now upped the hail size over there that we were just looking at over there in Wilson County to 3-inch, 3-inch hail. So the average hailstone size was lime to tennis ball size hail over there in Wilson County. That is just wild. That is bigger than we're used to around here. Concerns for tornadoes with the storm? No. So thanks for joining us. If you are just jumping in, maybe you got that alert on your phone just now with the new warning that just grazed us on the southeastern part of Williamson County. No tornado threats with this, especially for our two counties, because we're pretty much done with this. We just got grazed by that new warning, and then this warning here that covers most of Williamson County is going to be gone here in a matter of seconds, and so that's going to go away, and then there'll just be this one little tiny part of Williamson County included in a new warning, but we're not going to stay on. There's no need for us to stay on with a live stream for that. We'll jump over and cover it on Twitter. So we'll be off of here in just a minute. So let's kind of walk back through what we had. We had a line of storms that was pretty intense up in Kentucky, and that moved down to I-24, and those weakened big time, but it left an outflow boundary that was very strong that pushed down through Cheatham County, Dixon County, and on into Davidson and Williamson, and caused a lot of power outages. Looks like we have at least probably 35,000 people without power, or customers rather, meters in Davidson and Williamson counties. And so a lot to repair there, a lot of trees to clean up. But it looks like most of that has now pushed on to our southeast, and there goes our severe thunderstorm warning there. It's gone for most of our counties. And then again, we just got grazed by a new issuance of a warning there from Triune, the 31A, 41A split down to Alasona, and down toward Chapel Hill. So we just got grazed by that. The threat has largely and pretty much completely moved to our east. So we're going to jump off of here. And again, if you have any reports, please send those to us using hashtag TSpotter. You guys have been rock stars at sending those to us today. There have been a lot of reports. And if you have a report of hail, or if you have a report of wind damage, a tree came down, a large limb that impacts traffic or something like that, let us know. If you have anything that you'd like to report. We don't need to know, hey, it's raining at your place, or you had thunder and lightning or whatever, but anything severe, please report that to us using hashtag TSpotter in your tweet. Let us know where that the location of the damage, and just kind of describe it to us a little bit, and we'll get that over to the Weather Service. Hope you'll have a great afternoon. It's lunchtime, coming up on lunchtime, and it's good that these things are getting out of here, and hopefully you can enjoy a good lunch and enjoy some cooler weather for this weekend. Again, the Weather Service is forecasting temperatures over 100 degrees at the beginning or middle of next week, and we have not had that since 2012. So it could be a very hot next week, and this might be the last rain we see for a little while. So hate to tell you all that. All right, y'all have a great afternoon, and we will talk to you later.